Welcome back to another episode of the Course Creation Incubator Podcast. This is your host, Gina Onativia, helping you to hum along on your course creation, your marketing, and hopefully giving you some business tips along the way. And I've been thinking about you a lot lately. And what do you really need right now in terms of your course creation? And one thing that I know comes up is you've got your course, maybe even partially built, you know what you're doing, but you might not know exactly how to market it, how to get it out there the first time out. How do you get an offer out to the world without feeling like you're taking on too much risk? And that's exactly what I want to talk about today in terms of how do you put out an offer, an invitation, without taking on all the risk. Now, before I get to that, it's been a hectic week. School's out. I got waitlisted for Tristan's camp this week. So Tristan's been hanging with us and totally rocking the routine. I mean, disrupting the routine. Sound familiar to anyone out there? So these changes really rocked one particular day this week. And I said, all right, we need to get grounded. This can't happen again. So I went back to my action book, which is where I write down all of my action items. I went back to my top 3 priorities for the day to set my intention each and every morning. And then I said to myself, when is my deep work time? Now, if you haven't listened to that episode where I talk about deep work, it's an old one, but it's a great one. I'll list it in the show notes. And my deep work time is when I sit down and do the intense thinking and creation. I'm not just checking things off and checking emails and doing the light work that I can do while I'm distracted. Okay, the deep work is when I'm really in that creation mode. So I got one good chunk of deep work time in this week, one chunk. And I love that I actually got one in. And if you're feeling frustrated right now about not getting enough time to do your course or your entrepreneurial work, just think or ask, when can I get even a 45-minute chunk of deep work for me? Because that's what led me back to focus on what's important in terms of my business. And it grounds me, it centers me. And even just having that one chunk brings a smile to my face because I knew I made progress. So think about that. If you're frustrated and you really want to get that time in, even if you get a 45-minute chunk or an hour, I'm telling you, it's going to make your week. All right, back to our focus for today, which is how to make those lower risk moves. And here's what prompted this. I was having coffee with an old friend the other day who's interested in potentially getting into consulting. And let's call her Mia. And she's doing corporate gigs. She's very smart. She's got a great eye. She knows exactly what she's doing. She could easily become a consultant. And she looked at me and said, well, how do I get there? How do I take all these different pieces and my background and make it work as a consulting package? And I'm thinking to myself, this is exactly what some of you course creation students are thinking. You've got all these pieces. How do you make them come together? Because the truth is, Mia has everything that she needs to be a consultant. Because she was saying to me, oh, maybe I'll go back to school or I'll go to business school. And I said to her, based on your pedigree and expertise and knowledge, you do not need a degree to do this. You do not need a separate certification. You have everything you need right now based on your background. And if you're listening, you have everything you need to put together a best-selling course that can go to market and welcome your first students through the door. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know I talk about you need an audience and you need results. One result. If you have that result, you are now the expert. This actually came up with, we just had a reunion special for the 6-week accelerator. And one of my students said, I'm feeling imposter syndrome because I saw there's a certification in what I teach. Do I need that certification? When you have results, you have something to speak to. You have provided a transformation. You are the expert. I give you permission to move forward and to transform. Do not get hung up on that. That's like my friend Mia saying, well, I've never consulted before, so how can I put myself out there as a consultant? Even though she's got these years of incredible experience, She's got so many great pieces on her LinkedIn profile, her resume. She is an expert. Okay? And I believe in her and I believe in you. So sometimes I know it's about how do I connect the dots and make that happen? This is what Mia was trying to figure out. So of course, as I'm having coffee with her, the wheels are turning, right? And I'm thinking back to, well, how did I get started? How did I put my course creation pieces together? And 8 years ago, when I first really started specializing in course creation, I knew how to build courses and I was coaching on it, but I hadn't really doubled down on it. I was doing many different things as a consultant. And then a mentor of mine came to me and said she needed a done-for-you course built. Now, I never put all the pieces together into one package, but I knew I could do it. And here was my opportunity. I was blessed with this opportunity to do it with a bit of a lower risk because it was her client. I didn't have to go out and find this client. I just had to put all the pieces together in a system. It was a great opportunity to beta a package and see how everything came together. I learned a lot, as you can imagine, from that very first client and went on to develop a 5-phase approach to course creation. I do again and again. I do it for my done-for-you clients. I do it for my 6-week accelerator. And it all started 8 years ago when I worked one-on-one with that done-for-you client to figure out the different pieces of what comes together for my package. So that got my wheels turning. And for those of you listening right now who have your course at the ready, or maybe can deliver it live, and by the way, I'll link to that episode where I talk about how to nail your live workshop. How do you get there? Maybe you're asking that question. So I've got 2 ways for you to think about how you can just dip your toe in the water with a little bit of a lower risk, really validate your course idea, price point, different pieces, etc. And the first way really to do it is to do what I did and do it one-on-one and get your course idea out there. So you need to have a rough idea of what your course is. So I had a rough idea of how I was going to present the course creation done for you. And you can go and do my posted exercise process episode, by the way, because you want to know the flow. You want to have an idea of how you're going to present this one-on-one package. I want you to think through what are the overarching steps for the package, and that posted exercise process will help you with that as well. It's not just for courses. And then I want you to work your network and think, do I have a friend, a colleague, a sister of a cousin, a roommate's cousin's uncle who needs this that I could work with one-on-one for maybe a reduced fee? I want you to get paid for it though, because then there's skin in the game for both parties. You can offer it for maybe half off or a discounted price. And you're going to say, hey, I'm putting together this package based on my experience, my work with X, Y, and Z, because you have the background, right? And you want to cite some social proof here. I would like you to be one of my founding clients. This is how we're going to work through it. This is the transformation I will provide for you. And then you're going to put it out there in a cohesive package. And instead of a sales page, maybe you have a 1-page PDF. And you're going to present it to them. This is the backbone of what your course is going to become. It starts as a consulting package, and you know it's going to spin up into a course. When I did the original Done For You, it was a 3-month package. So maybe it's a 30-day package for you, 60 days, whatever it is. It could be 3 months. Define the steps, the timeline, the price, and put it out there. Then if you don't know someone, reach out to Facebook groups, go on LinkedIn, hit up your connectors. Somebody knows somebody that can try this out. Then you'll have the experience. You'll go through your system with someone and you get feedback. You learn what they like, what they didn't like, what worked and what didn't work. That feedback is invaluable in then switching to the course format. So you start with the one and then you build it for the many. And now you have the confidence that you've been through that process and you really can deliver it for someone. You know in your heart of hearts you can help someone transform. So that's way number 1. Do the one-on-one package. And by the way, a lot of times this is how course creators start off. They start off with this consulting package, then they work to the online course for many. It helps you build up your confidence. Now, I want you to go into that one-on-one consulting with your course in mind, though. And how are you going to teach that system so it works for many? You're going to be very cognizant of your system and knowing that eventually you want to put out that online course to everyone. Now, the second way, and you're going to start small again, maybe you get 5 people to workshop your course content with you. I've had plenty of students do this, where they say they get 5 on a Zoom, and maybe it's 3 or 4 sessions. It does not have to be 8 weeks or 12 weeks, guys, okay? Keep it simple. Sometimes I think it's a mistake. Course creators think they have to be a 3-month or a 6-month program. You can go back and listen to How Do I Trial an Offer in 30 Days? I'll link to it in the show notes so you can hear how you can get that offer in shape in 30 days. So maybe you offer a 30-day program. You say, I'm going to pick 5 people, a special group. I'm never going to do it this way again because I really want to hear your feedback in an intimate environment. I'm going to give you attention and access to me that I'll probably never give again. So I'm going to keep it at this special price. We'll work the system together with just 5 people. Now, what's the pros and cons of this versus way number 1? Pro, you get more feedback. Instead of hearing from the one, you're going to hear 5 different voices and feedback, which is pretty cool. An idea here, especially if they have an email list or a larger network, would be promote this offer and have people apply. That way you can intentionally choose people who will be more engaged and maybe even have a list of people who you can follow up with when the course is ready. So you're looking for different types of people to see how they respond to your program. Maybe you have 3 possible avatars or ideal students that could go through your course. Well, maybe you pick 5 people that represent those 3 kinds of avatars so you can see how they differently respond. And then you know, oh yeah, they're truly ideal students, or maybe I was a little off about it. The pro is you get that perspective. Now the con is, of course, you have more people to manage. The pro is you get more perspective, and now the con is, of course, you have more people to manage. But I know you can handle that. So it just depends about what do you really want. You want that one-on-one feel, or do you want to be able to work out something with a group? And by the way, it doesn't have to be 5. It could be 7 or 10. The reason I mention 5 is it takes a lot of the pressure off. Just like the first way, just like one-on-one, you're going to charge a lower price point that you will likely never charge again. And then at the end of it, you say, who do you know that could benefit from a program like this? And those referrals become the lifeline and the foundation of your program. My friend Colleen, who's been on the podcast, loves to tell a story about how she got 4 people in a room when she was first starting to build her speaking career. And what's great is that those 4 people then triggered a series of events and programs and opportunities for Colleen that really sparked her speaking career and really grew it. And now she's an in-demand speaker. It's super cool what happened because she just got 4 in a room. Imagine what can happen if you just get 5 on Zoom, the opportunities that can open up. And the great thing is they're going to hear how powerful your content is, and they're going to tell other people. So not only are you testing out your content and getting that confidence, you're also creating ambassadors in the process. Win-win. You've just got to take the first step. You've got to put yourself out there. By the way, speaking of confidence, at the end of that coffee date with my friend, I gave her way too many diagrams, blabbed on, and I said, okay, and then that's it. Of course, it's a little more layered than that. And then she goes, great, now if I could just have your confidence, I'll be on my way. I get it. I can speak to it because I've been there. I've been there and back. If you're just starting out, you got to borrow that confidence. Borrow some of mine because I believe in you. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know what you're doing. You know what you want. Now own it and go try out one of these ways. If you've been stuck trying to think, how are you going to get your course out there? Consider trying one of these 2 ways. Taking that leap. All right. Hopefully this is helpful for you. Leave me a review if you are taking action with this podcast. I would love to see it. I'd love to get that feedback. Make sure you subscribe because next week is our 100th episode. And we are going to party. We are going to celebrate and talk about some of the things, me and my team, some of the things that have surprised us, some of the things we have learned about course creation and marketing over the last few years that we have been recording this podcast. Until next week, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.